Welcome to my Best 11 podcast. Today this is a bit crazy one. We are joined by Steve Howard, Kevin Nicholls, Marvin to talk about our England Best 11s. We're trying to predict who is going to be the best 11 team that Gareth Southgate can put out. Now, before we get going, hello, gentlemen. I'll start off going round in a circle. So, Kev, Nicholls, how are you, sir?
I'm very well, thank you. Yourself?
Very good. This is the most polite we've been. Howie, how are you?
I'm very well, Andrew. Yeah, very well. Cold, but very well.
Marvin? Marvin? Excellent.
I'm fine, Andrew. I'm fine.
Excellent. So we're going to try and work out who the best 11 is. Now, I'm just going to throw us in straight at the deep end. The games start in about 5 days. England's games kick off in 7 days. Obviously, we've had a couple of Premier League games since the squad was announced, but nobody's injured, apparently. Maddison's fine, and Phillips is going on crutches. But apart from that, we're looking okay for fitness-wise, but as we've all spoken off air, maybe not too well quality-wise. So I'm just going to chuck it out there. Formation. This is where we're starting. I reckon 3-4-3 is what he's going to go for. Mostly because we have crap defenders. And I think he's going to want 3 centre-backs to cover all their asses. I've got a smirk from Howie.
Yeah.
Go on.
No, well, that's obviously you. But I think, obviously off air, Nico was right. I think he doesn't know what he's going to play. So I think to predict what he's going to play, I think he'll make his mind up the day before, a couple of days beforehand, and just say, right, this is what we're going for. But I don't know if he'll go 4-3-3. Like,
what have you gone for?
I've gone for a 4-4-2, but yes, I don't think he'll do that. I don't think he'll do that, but I would go with that.
You think we'll go for 4-4-2? Marvin?
I mean, I would like if he went, but he won't, because he's never played it. 4-4-2 diamond. I've gone 4-4-2 diamond because of the players. I've got all the best players in I think, who could win us the World Cup. At some point, we'll probably win the World Cup with this 11.
We're not winning the World Cup. Nico?
Yeah, because he won't pick my 11. Of course he won't. Yeah, because he won't pick my 11.
I don't think he'll go 3-4-3 because he doesn't want to play one pivot. That's why we lost the final in the Euros. Because we're too defensive. I would just play Rice as a pivot and probably tweak it a little bit, but I definitely think he probably will go 3 centre-halves if Kyle Walker's fit.
That's the kicker. Yes. So, do you know what? We're just going to name our 11s and we'll just go through. So we'll start off in defence. We'll start off in goalie because there was already questions about goalkeepers. Now, Marvin, goalies. We've got 3 to pick from. Pickford, Ramsdale or Popey?
Ramsdale, all day long.
Ramsdale, 100%.
Yeah.
Howie?
Pope.
Nice. Oh, he's a Geordie.
Yeah. Geordie boy. He's got to be unbelievable this season. And I've watched a lot of Newcastle this season, and he's been bob on.
Have you been watching it? Have you been sober watching?
No, but that's not the point.
Were you part of that rave I saw outside of St James's Park after the game against Chelsea?
Yeah, I got tickets for him. So there you go.
They were signing Shearer back.
Tell you. Yeah.
So
Who are you saying then, Andrew?
Right, I think he'll go Pickford. And
no. I agree with that, but I thought we was picking our best.
Okay, yeah. My best. Okay, I'm being serious now. My best. I reckon Pickford right now is better than Ramsdale.
No chance. Did you see?
Is there a time delay on the games for the weekend?
Won Bournemouth the game the weekend.
Yeah, but
that's what I'm saying, Nico.
I've watched that whole of that. You know that Arsenal All or Nothing thing, that All or Nothing documentary thing. I reckon Ramsdale's got a wobble in him. He's got a wobble in him. I know Pickford has, but Pickford's never let England down.
Pickford got man of the match at Bournemouth the weekend. Bournemouth gave him it. This never happened at a away game. When got man of the match.
He's got his wobbles out. I'll go Pickford.
What are you saying, Howie? Pope?
Pope.
But no,
So me and Nick-
I like.
So
I like.
Nico, we win it. Ramsdale. We win it with Ramsdale. Nico and I.
But I
Ramsdale.
know fine well he's gonna play Pickford without a shove it out.
But you prefer Pope.
Okay, Howie, let me ask you this. I do agree with you. Pope's very good. Newcastle doing very well defensively. But do you think Pope generally is good enough with his feet for a World Cup?
No, not at all. That's the only thing that lets him down is his feet. Not at all. No. He's not
Great point, Nico. Ramsdale, it is then, isn't it?
Well, we're going to. Well, if you're going for voting, 2 votes for
over. If I had to pick between Pickford and Ramsdale, I'd go Ramsdale. Well, that was shove it out.
3-1 then.
All right, 3-1. So we're going in goal. We've got Ramsdale in goal. Ex-Sheffield United Bournemouth player. That's fine. Ramsdale.
It's top of the league. What do you want?
Oh, right. Okay. Now, I'm going to ask, I've got some actual serious questions I'm going to ask about all this. Now, Ramsdale's old man, obviously, he has been quite vocal about playing for England. Nico, you do a bit of agency work and players and stuff like that. Is it common that players at all levels, or especially in the Premier League, do they get paid more money if they play for their country? Do they get kind of international bonuses?
It would depend. It would depend what the players have got in their club contracts.
Yeah.
But ask Howie. Howie played for Scotland.
Hey, I was there.
Howie, did you get paid more by?
I didn't get paid more.
So did you get paid more by your club because you play for Scotland?
No.
And you scored, didn't you?
Yes.
You had to be a goal scoring bonus. I'm knowing you.
Well,
I don't know if we should say this. We're all retired now. I heard Howie paid Scotland for the cap.
Don't do that. Huh?
Brilliant. No, but going back to your serious question, it will be what is in their contracts. So you should be representing your country. It's a proud moment. It's a World Cup. You may never get to another one. We was all growing up as boys and go, being serious. It depends on what's been put into the contract. Some clubs will do it, some won't. Some say you get paid enough, but yeah.
Yeah,
surely it should be that they get something because down the line in the industry, what most of these players are, they're going to get sold. So their value must be higher if they're playing for obviously their country. Surely.
So if Ivan Toney got in the squad, say that he never thought he was going to play for his country, and his agent didn't put it in. And I'm not saying his agent done that on purpose, but I think if you're one of the big boys, it's a given. I think if you're not, then sometimes you can lose out. I know they get paid. They'll get paid for playing for England, but I think they all give it to charity now, by the sounds of it, with the appearance money they get, and obviously whatever else comes with that, if you get what I mean, PR wise.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask. Mark, do you reckon they should be paid to play for England?
What, by the club or by the country?
By the country.
No. Again, it probably is one all set fee, isn't it? I suppose, and like Nico says, by all accounts, they all just give it to charity. So I think it's a good thing because at the end of the day, they're giving it away. But I'm sure there must be somewhere down the line someone's turned around and gone, hold on a minute, I've just got into this, like I've got 3 or 4 caps, I'm keeping it. I don't know.
Go on, Nico. That's been set up for you to throw that back at Howie. That has.
No, I've got to pay myself. We get on a train.
I reckon they will get paid more for England. I'm trying to think over the years that I've played with people who's played for England. And I think it was just like, obviously the PR stuff and all that gets put in the pot. And they all share it. And I think that's when one of my mates said, when he was playing with David Beckham, he was doing all the interviews and putting all of his interviews into one pot. And they were buzzing because it kept on saying, do as many as you can, do as many as you can. And they were sticking in the pot.
They kept their own money because they got their own interviews.
No, I think they put it into a pot, like a player's pot.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And then it was...
Ultimately, I think they get paid so well now, and it's the richest league in the world, etc., etc. everything that comes with England is they get enough freebies, they get enough, and they will get a fee for being with the World Cup. The big thing is as well, which is what people don't understand, is when they get injured as well, the FA have to compensate the clubs if anyone does get on international duty.
Right, and that's why. I mean, yeah. So does that happen quite a lot then? Does it happen more than?
For a long bit, but what I'm saying is, if someone, hopefully it doesn't happen, but if someone gets injured in the World Cup and they get injured playing for England, then their club does get compensated by the FA.
Yep, of course, because they're not playing for their club. That I don't mind. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. All right, so we're going to move on. So we've gone for Ramsdale is in goal. Okay, right. I'm just going to. What I'm going to name is I'm just going to quickly rattle through the defenders in the squad. Now, I'm sure we're going to get faces, smirks as I go through them. So in alphabetical order, Alexander-Arnold.
There's one thing, Andrew. Should we agree on a back four or a back three before you do that?
All right, we'll go with yeah, fair enough. We'll start on formation then. So are we going 3 or 4 or 5?
I say 4.
I say 4. I say 4.
Nico?
I say 3.
I say 3.
Right.
Nico, what do you reckon 3?
Why?
Yeah.
Because defensively we're not good enough, and that's what could kill us in the competition. And I think it'll protect ourselves with pace, athleticism, and hope that the forward players. I think it'll be a bit gung-ho. I think we've got to outscore teams, because I don't trust us in keeping clean sheets,
especially with Ramsdale in goal. Yeah. Howie, what have you gone for?
I've gone 4 just because, well, I don't know whether it's just me heart leading my head there, because I would like to see us more attacking, and obviously he's very defensive, isn't he? So I get what Nico was saying now, like, you know, keeping clean sheets was obviously a big problem, but I've gone a 4 because I'd like to see the wide midfielders get pushed on, but I could be living in a dream world there.
Marv?
I mean, I'm similar to Howie, but I mean, he won't go the formation or how I said. Like if he went 4-3-3, it would be more like how he says attacking. And I think with the front three, who I suppose we will pick, it will be quite forward thinking more so. And I like balance as well. So I've kept the left footers on the left hand side, or the predominantly left footers on the left side of the field.
Okay, right. So I'm going to go casting vote. Casting vote on this. Marvin, which way are you going? 4 or 3?
You're froze, Marv.
Oh. No, I'm just trying to 4.
4, right. It's because he's under pressure.
Thinking long. I'm being serious, Steve, for once. I was thinking long and hard. 4.
Does Marv generally in matches? Have you ever seen Marv freeze in a match? Either of you two?
Well,
no.
Can we see it? No.
He come on as a super sub, and I'm disappointed he ain't got his gloves on tonight.
What, my yellow gloves and my yellow hat?
That goal against Liverpool.
Right, so we're going to have to go 4. So, Nico, we're going to have to slightly tweak our teams.
That's fine.
Right, so I'll go through the teams then. Alexander-Arnold, Cody, Dyer, Maguire, Shaw, Stones, Trippier, Walker, and White is the squad. Okay, so I'm going to hand it over to Howie. Who have you got at right back then? Because I'm going to have to flick mine around. So is Nico probably. Howie.
I wanted to put Trippier in, right? But I'm going to go Walker.
Oh, why?
Just watching. Obviously, I was sober this time when I was watching Newcastle, and he's been absolutely outstanding in, by the way, this season. But see, it was the point again. Southgate won't play he's informed players. He's got his players he likes, and he plays them. So
we're picking the best 11.
Yeah, but we're picking us. So you got to go for who you.
The best player you think on the park
you
at
think,
right back
yeah.
would be is who?
No, Walker.
For you.
Yeah.
Walker.
Walker. Okay.
Marv, that face.
Trippier all day long. He's been instrumental. Free kicks, getting forward, joining in. They're riding high at the top of the league. He's on a high. He's experienced. He's been like Atletico Madrid. So I mean, Trippier for me.
Nico.
Brent.
Oh, he's gone Alexander-Arnold.
Brent.
Brent?
If you
You
want
think
the
it's
best,
fair? He gets so much abuse.
yeah, I don't care. I think he's a proper player.
No, I'm saying, do you think it's fair? Not do you care? Do you think it's fair?
Listen, I don't think defensively he's as good as Walker nor Trippier, but we're trying to win the group and we're trying to win the World Cup. And I think there's Trippier's close, but Trent, like what Howie and Marv said, I think Trent is on a different level. Passing, vision, set pieces. He's one of the best passers. He's close to De Bruyne. He's a fullback. That's something else.
Can he defend though, Nico? Like the other two?
He said, to be fair, Howie's had one too many wines already. Look, he just said no. He's not can defend that great. But he's right in what he's saying. Getting forward, 100%. That's why I didn't go for him, Howie, because obviously at the end of the day, I feel that his defending is not going to be as good as Trippier.
Right. Well, sorry, gents. I'm going with Nico. I've gone Trent. Trent's at right back, and there's a reason for that. Trent's at right back.
I'm happy with that. I'm fine with that. I was close to choosing him myself, so I'm happy with that.
All right. So, out of interest, Alexander-Arnold's only got 17 caps. Question for Howie. Is it easier to get England caps now than when you boys were playing, do you reckon?
Probably yes, I would say, because of squad rotation and all that sort of stuff.
Why do you reckon that is, though? Just purely squad, or do you reckon it's a case of they're looking further down the leagues, or players pull out?
No, I just think they're using more players, basically.
Nico,
I think there's a bigger pool of top players to choose from. I think the old and they was brilliant players: Terry, Lampard, Scholes, Gerrard, Owen, Shearer. But I think there's such a bigger pool in quite a few positions, not all positions. But I just think there's a bigger pool, and I think Gareth he's been the chief. I'm not trying to be anti-Gareth, but I think he knows what he's doing. He's quite calculated. Give a lot of debuts out. Got the country on side with young players. The PR thing that he does at St George's Park. They've never done it before major tournaments, before Russia and the Euros. He's quite clever in what he does. He's the only one that's never been absolutely battered by the press. He's the only manager I know.
I'm trying to think.
True.
Yeah. You're probably right. Well, in fairness, he's done it at comps. He's got to the semis and the final. You can't.
Yeah, but they didn't win.
Yeah, and it's true. We've got to the semis before, and they've got battered, haven't they? I mean,
you got bad against Croatia, yeah.
Yeah, but the manager's still going to hold his hands up and say, I got through to the semis. I mean, it was an easy group. So you think, right, fair enough, but he still got through to the semis. I mean,
we played every game in England, apart from one in the Euros.
Yeah.
We was totally the whole tournament.
Totally agree. Yeah.
Very true. Very true. Right, we're going to switch to left back. Left back.
There's only one.
No. Nico, so you've gone Shaw then?
Yeah.
Howie?
Sure. But
Marv?
Could have put Trippier in there, but sure.
Yeah. Yeah, you could have put Trippier, but I've gone Shaw. Yeah.
See, I put Trippier there.
Yeah. Okay.
I did. I just cannot stand Shaw.
Oh, you can't do for personal reasons.
I'm a place to get personal, mate.
Yeah, jeez.
I sound like Ronaldo on that Piers Morgan thing.
He's already done that with Ramsdale and his dad. He's calling his dad out on you and everything.
Oh. I just, Do you know what? He doesn't play for United.
Nor
Shaw
does
does not
Squad.
play for United enough.
Oh,
You
Well-
sure you're not? So you have to
But
go.
it
You're
is-
going Shaw then.
but he's in
My
he's
left-
in the squad though, isn't he? He's
My
in the squad.
left back was Chilwell. No. Mine if he was fit, but he isn't. So I would have picked Chilwell all day long.
Why, Howie? Why do you reckon that James Justin's never got a look in? I'm talking obviously a bit biased here from a Luton perspective, and I know he's injured
yeah.
now. Why do you think he hasn't looked at Justin? I mean, versatility's there, but he's been playing for a while.
I mean, he's a great player. He's done brilliantly, but it comes back to I think Southgate's got his men. I honestly believe that in his head that he's got his men he wants to play. He should, if he was fit, I'm sure he would have been there or thereabouts, but you never know. But he's a great player. He's definitely one for the future. Definitely.
Yeah. So you speak about he's got his men, he's got his players and things like that. Do you think it makes a difference the club you play for? As to where, do you reckon there's a club element to this? So, I mean, Luton, say, for example, if you play for Luton in the Championship, are you less likely to get picked for your country than if you played for, even say, Sheffield Wednesday in the league below? Is there still that label, that tag to some clubs and not other clubs? Nico.
I think there is, but I think if you use example, what's happened to Ivan Toney, I think
It's disgraceful.
it goes deeper. Is it because he's at Brentford? Is it because he's not got a cap? Is it because Callum Wilson's at Newton? I think if you use that and you go off form, again, Gareth is picking characters and people that he likes off the pitch as well as on the pitch. Because let's be honest, I don't think he likes James Maddison. I think it's personal. But I think the press have got him in the squad.
Yeah. And it's a 26-man squad, of course, not a 23.
Correct.
Which is potentially why Trent's got in and Maddison's got in.
Going back to the fullbacks, if I can quickly as well, I think a real loss for the country going into this tournament, losing James and Chilwell, who would have been my starters personally.
Yeah.
I think that's a big miss.
James would have been a start for me. If he was fit, I would have had James.
Yeah, because James does the mix, doesn't he? He's literally the halfway house between Alexander Arnold and
He's Trent and Walker in one.
Yeah. So you reckon it does make a difference then, playing for certain clubs?
I mean, we'll get onto the
do you think that's the same with Phillips, Marv? Do you reckon that Phillips would not have got in the England squad if he hadn't have gone to City? Because he hasn't played all season.
I know, but like again, like the boy's been saying, he's. I think he likes him. He's one of his boys. His go-to boys for Southgate. So I think he would have got in if he was at Leeds still. Yeah.
I think Phillips would have played more if he was at Leeds, so he would have definitely got in. I agree with Marv. I agree with your point. He's gone City. It's like, listen, there's players in credit. Pickford in credit for England. We've got to get away from that. Maguire in credit. We've got to get away from that. Phillips in credit. It doesn't make sense that we're the only country that always seems to pick players that are in credit and not the ones that deserve to be picked. It don't make sense.
Yeah, true. So we've gone Shaw at left back. We're just going to go centre backs across there. So Marv, who's your two?
Dyer and White.
Sorry, Marvin.
Sorry, do you bring it up there, Marv?
Dyer.
I missed the first one.
Oh, I think you're breaking up, Marv. Check your Wi-Fi, mate.
Dyer and White. I like the same. I mean, I like ball playing centre halves. At the end of the day, you got to go for attack. You can't have like. I mean, listen. Hold on, sorry, nigga. One more thing. I will laugh my socks off if one of you freaks pick Maguire. That's all I'm saying. Got nothing against the guy, but I will laugh my socks off. I'm taking it now.
Harry, who's playing on the right and who's playing on the left?
Say again.
Who's playing on the right? Who's playing on the left?
On the right, I'll play White. Dyer on the left. I like Dyer. He's a good footballer.
Yeah.
Howie? Howie?
Hey, just leave me alone. Well, just let me drink this first. Jeez, I fell off my chair there.
Mine's Stones and White.
Yeah, I've got Stones and White.
As have I got Stones and White.
There you go.
Marvin, Eric Dyer, have you been watching Tottenham?
What?
Yes.
I mean, that's just. I don't know where you get that from, Marv. Why'd you get that, Marv? Why? Because he's a. What?
I've been following his career from when he was playing midfield and he's dropped back. I mean, I really do like him. I'm a big fan of his, Dyer.
Well, he's only just got back in the squad because how bad he is.
Huh? What's that?
He's only just got back in the England squad because how bad he is.
Well, then he must be in some form then, if that's the case, then that he's just got back in the squad now. But I've always liked him. I've got a lot of, I mean, he'd probably be my captain as well.
Cool.
What am I hearing?
Listen, you three have gone for Stones and White. That's gross is great. I mean, I'm a big fan of White because I mean, it takes a lot for a centre half to play out as a fullback as well. I mean, you must be you're even a little bit of a better player than most. Not every centre half can play at fullback, and so I mean, all round, I think he's out and out great defender, White, but also he's very comfortable in the ball.
Yeah, and that's going to help Trent. If you pick Trent, surely having White there who's played both positions, that helps, doesn't it?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, in a back four, I think so. I just think I think the old back four can run, and Stones, Ben White, good defenders, young, athletic. I like because they back themselves and they defend with an eye line. Where when Maguire or Dyer plays, it is a very deep line and a deep line block, and that got us in so much trouble in the final against Italy.
Yeah. Howie, have you seen a player's almost, I'm not going to say implode, but it feels a bit like Maguire's whole career's almost imploded in the past 12, 18 months, or maybe even 2 years. Have you seen that happen before yourself?
Well, I remember playing against him when he was at Sheffield United, and I played against him, and he was good. He was very, for the size he is, he was very weak. I thought, right, fair enough. He's a young lad, fair enough. He'll crack on, and he cracked on. He was brilliant at Leicester, but I was surprised when he moved to Man United for the money he did, and I was just like, well, I've seen him play, and I've watched him play, and he moved for that kind of money. I just thought, I don't know if he is, and then obviously, he was riding the wave and all that, and I think the whole thing's just caught up with him, and I think that's the type of player he is now, and I don't think he's as good as everybody makes out, even though he's a nice lad, but I don't think you could put him in the squad. I think he's just going to go. He's hit his plateau.
The problem is how he's not quick enough, is he?
No,
he's not quick enough.
I mean, you talk that Leicester side. You talk about like Vardy against Maguire. He's got no chance.
Yeah, and again, I mean, no disrespect to them. I mean, obviously, you're a big Leicester hero. When they played and they won the league, a lot of the time they weren't like bashing team. They're always on the counter attack. So the back four always deep. So there's he never got exposed. He never got exposed.
That's exactly how they won the Premier League. You can't take it away from them. They had a low block.
Oh, no, but what I'm saying is that Nico, he didn't get exposed. His lack of pace didn't get exposed.
But nor did he in the Euros. He had two screens, Phillips and Rice. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
True.
I mean, that Leicester squad. I remember watching that Leicester squad, and I remember speaking to Danny Drinkwater, and I said, "Oh, it must be brilliant playing up front like Vardy and all that." He went, when you get a square ball, you don't even look; you just ping it because you know he's on his bike, and that's because they're so deep because he was getting it and just pinging it. But that's what Nico hit the point. Because he gets people in front of him, he can get away with it.
Yeah, I suppose when people like Kante and like you said, Drinkwater, when Drinkwater's at his absolute peak as well.
Yeah.
So we've gone Stones. Stones is it interesting that Stones is in and out of the City team? Do you think that makes a difference for a defender for consistency? Because I don't know if Guardiola knows if it's Laporte or if it's Ake or Stones. Do you think that makes a difference going into a big tournament? Do you want to be playing for your club week in, week out, Nico?
Some players will like rhythm. But I think Man City, I think Pep and Klopp are the main people that moan about the scheduling and find it, obscene that we're having a World Cup in November. But I actually think Pep's been quite clever with the rotation in defenders. They've obviously had some injuries as well. Actually, touch on your point, you mentioned Ben White's very good, but John Stones has played right back as well recently. So that's quite interesting as well with City. But no, I think some players like to get into a rhythm. Back in the day, probably you asked me and Howie, Marv, we'd all say we want to play every game, play every week. We loved it. But I do think that the elite of the elite, now the games and how quick it is and game turnaround and trying to not get these players injured, it can take its toll now. And there's a lot, the game's evolved so much in it with, sports science, the training methods, travelling. I mean, we never, unfortunately, at Luton, when we was all together, we never done crazy amounts of travelling. It would always be coached. Where these boys are jumping on planes and international. I mean, some of them are playing like close to 60, 70 games a season. That's a lot.
Yeah. That's why I reckon Liverpool have fallen away. Is that right, Marv? I know you're a bit of a Liverpool fan.
I am a Liverpool fan, yeah. I mean, again, they sold. I mean, it's not just him. They sold the wrong one. I think Salah. They should have cashed in on Salah and kept Mane. Mane was a big like loss to them, and that has been a big loss to them.
But you wanted to play every week.
Was that Nick?
Do you really think that's the problem with Liverpool?
No, that's not. I said there's the games and that. There's a lot more than that, but I still feel definitely yes, Salah is now come into a little bit of form, but I would have cashed in on him. I mean, you would have got a lot more money for him probably than Mane, and then obviously
But for me, the midfield's the problem. No one can run no more.
True.
That's the problem. Thiago never got brought to the club. He's the one that makes things tick. Have you seen how deep Van Dijk defends now? Because he's got no protection. No one can run. None of the midfielders can run. It just catches up with you. Happens to the best of us.
And that's true. That's true what Nico said. Because listen, if they can't run, right, then there's no pressure on the ball. If there's no pressure on the ball, even I know. I mean, I'm not. I mean, if we go back to I don't know, was it Bristol Rovers away? Was it with me and Mick? Like, other than got. But there was no pressure on the ball. And he kept saying, Marv, why are you dropping off? I said, Nick, there's no pressure on the ball, Mick. Yeah, I'm not going to be like, stand.
Is that when Mick you were in the restroom and you had a ding dong with him?
Well, I mean, when the big fridge had to come across and just like party. Listen, I knew squaring up to Mick, if he put his fist back, I would have got splattered. But I had to be the bigger person. I mean, I can't turn around and back down.
That's the first time I've stood up and sat down in one motion when I said it. I was like this. Whoa, hello, Mick.
Yeah.
To be fair, the whole dressing room was like, Marv, what are you doing? Sit down, Marv. Sit down.
I'm not. I couldn't back down.
Excellent. So, before we go to a quick break, I'm going to ask Nico about his England playing days.
Yes.
So
that's mean. Why are you doing that? What is this? That's mean.
No, it's not. I'm actually legitimately asking. Playing for the, obviously, you played for England coming through the youth ranks.
Yeah.
And
did you not get sent off?
Yeah.
I was working to that, Marv. I was being nice. I was trying to do a bit of a shit sandwich.
Listen,
I was trying to do a shit sandwich.
You're a wolf in sheep's clothing. Listen.
Nico, did you get sent off and you're only going for England under 20s?
No, my only game.
How many games did you play for under 20s?
3 in the Nigeria '99 World Cup. We didn't win a game, so let's not go talk about it. That's why I got sent off. I blame team selection and formation. And I did have a little Japanese guy that was causing havoc, so I had to leave one on him, and obviously I had an early path. I remember the referee was Mexican as well.
Did you deserve to go though? Was it sending off?
It's two bookings, Marv. Well, it weren't.
Right.
It weren't violent.
Right.
That came later.
Hey, Howie, there was no cameras in the tunnel then.
Yeah, we did.
So I know obviously you won lots of stuff throughout your career and even lifting trophies at Wembley. Was that one of the proudest moments for you? And not that I'm being serious now, not sending off. Playing for England.
It was good. I mean, you look back on it, and I got 10 youth caps, 7 for under 18s, and then I just think it was a proud moment for my mum and dad, really, and obviously for me. But it's nice, to say your son's represented the country, even if it's at youth level, and then you didn't get a full cap. And I just think it was real. Some of the players you played with it's just crazy through the age groups and where their careers took them, where my career took me, and obviously some lads are quite unlucky where they play youth football and then they don't get pros, or they get an injury, or they get released, and it's just all about timing. But yeah, they're good memories. But club football, I'm not knocking international football, but I take club football and the lads any day over international football. That's just my motto.
Yeah. Is it hard to create that? Because by the time, you three haven't probably seen each other for a couple of years and stuff, and you're already straight back into it. Is it hard to create that in an international setting?
It was very cliquey at a young age. I mean, because I came through at Charlton Athletic, there was another guy called Kevin Lisby, and we both were selected. It was very, very cliquey with the big boys, like probably both Manchester clubs, Everton, Liverpool. So because you weren't one of the big boys, it was like you had to wait to be accepted, if you get what I mean. It was a bit strange. I don't know if it's like that because I've never been with the full team and stuff like that. But yeah, it was a bit of a strange environment, but it is what it is.
Yeah, yeah. How was it like that at Scotland? Was it a bit cliquey when you got there?
It was funny because we played on a nighttime game against Ireland, and it was just, you got there, you trained, went to bed, got up, just you had a little training in the morning, and then played on the night time, and then went home. So it wasn't as if you had a lot of time with these lads, and they didn't have you were just getting in, getting out. So there was
and they qualify for tournaments.
What, sorry?
And they wonder why they don't qualify for tournaments.
Yeah.
Strange.
Well, it was one of them. It was just a friendly game anyway. So it was just a in and out job. And I haven't experienced the whole international scene. And I remember playing on there. It was a Tuesday night, and I'll always remember we were playing Man United on the Saturday at Old Trafford. I wanted to play there, and I thought, if I play in this game and get injured, I'll never play there again. And that's the way I was thinking this. So I was half-hearted with it. But I was so happy to go to play there and then play at Old Trafford.
Quite interesting. It's quite interesting what that point you just made, big man. For me, I think the squad should have been named after the last Premier League game. I totally disagree with when they announced it.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree. You could see it with Man City, especially. Do you think Man City would have lost if the squad would have been announced after?
Maybe not. Maybe because I just think Tony was angry the weekend, so he needs.
So maybe flip it on its head. Tony might have thought, I'm still getting the England squad, so I wouldn't have been as angry, or I'll be pulling out tackles.
Correct. So I just think the whole thing should have been done. The season should have curtailed, and they should have gone, do you know what? This is what we're going to do. Last game, and then Monday morning, to whatever the time, do it then. It just doesn't make sense what they've done. Could even done it on Sunday.
Yeah, totally agree.
Yeah.
Well, there is a human element that though. Andrew, you're thinking, I'm going to go to the World Cup. Oh, I don't want to get injured. I'm going to the World Cup.
Oh,
so
100%.
I'm going to pull out. Totally.
Yeah. They reckon that De Bruyne had probably one of his worst games of the season, potentially because of it.
Yeah. Especially big players like that. They want to make an impression in the World Cup.
Charlton Athletic goalkeeper broke his finger in the warm-up against Burton. He's the Ghana's number 1.
When we get back from our break, we're going to name the remaining 4 and the 2 strikers on the England's best 11. Thanks very much, gents.
Who's the funnier one out of the two of you?
I think it's like Nico would probably just edge it on pure madness because obviously he'll do the unthinkable. Whereas, I mean, I don't like literally go that far, and some of the things I don't even want to repeat on here because it's like certain things, not bad, but just stuff like just certain people's clothes and things like that.
You told me you stuck red heat inside Tony Thorpe's jocks undies the other day.
Say again?
You told me you stuck red heat inside Tony Thorpe's undies.
Listen, that's nothing.
That's small fry.
Yeah, that is literally small fry. Just one. Okay. Fireworks, right? Lighting a firework onto assistant managers like underwear and sending them up in the sky. That's just one of his.
Was that any particular celebration or just big call?
No, it just felt like it. He just wanted to do it.
Yeah, but there was a clearance at the corner shop near Kenilworth Road. I was doing that shop a good deed. I had to wait another year for the fireworks. So I just helped them. I won't say how much I picked up, but quite a bit.
And you're going to say the assistant manager?
Oh, Brian Steen, no problem.
Yeah, Steenie. Where's my shorts gone, Nico? I can't believe you've blown my shorts up, Nico. What are you doing? It's not funny, man.
Welcome back to the second part of England's Best 11. We're joined by Marvin Johnson, Stephen Howard, Kevin Nicholls, and myself. We're going to go 3 midfield players. Despite my stuff up before the break, we're going 3 midfielders. So I'm going to hand over to, well, first of all, are we playing holding? 1 holding and 2 forward?
Yeah, pivot and 2 8s.
Yep.
Yes.
Right. So pivot. Who are we going for, Nico?
Declan Rice.
Howie?
Declan Rice.
Marv?
Dyer.
You can't pick him twice.
Oh, please, Dyer. Please.
Please.
Get him in there somewhere. Please.
Is he your son? Are you just trying to put him in anywhere in the
No, I just knew because you 3 were getting on with me. I just thought, let me say Dyer again. You can't pick him again, Andrew. Right. I would I'd probably swing more to Rice, but I was like thinking of Bellingham. I like Jude, the young lad.
Yeah.
As a holding.
Huh?
As a holding player.
I would, but listen, I'm going with Rice. I'm going to be sensible. In my team, I would have, Bellingham. I know everyone thinks
That's
it's more.
like Howie wants Pope as the pivot.
He's going to try. He's going to try and give Almiron a citizenship.
Declan Rice. There you go. Declan Rice.
Declan Rice. Easy, straight in.
All 4 of us. Is that the one that effectively agreed? All 4? Is it?
Yeah.
I think so. Yeah. Declan Rice is in. Now, is it a bit weird or strange for particularly the Irish? Obviously, he came through playing all the way through with Ireland and even played, I think, 1 game friendly for Ireland and then switched to England. Controversial, Nico?
Yeah, it's not something I echo, but if the loophole is there, then if they've not played in a competitive game, it's happened quite a bit now, isn't it? With Zaha, I think he played for England youth, and now he's Senegal. I think, it's not something that sits right with me, but there's that loophole within FIFA, and if you can do it, then they're going to do it if they want to.
Yeah. Do you reckon you did it? And I'm going to get absolutely battered by some Irish people on here. Do you reckon he did it so we could actually get to the World Cup?
Possibly. I think Gareth was a big fit. Gareth was a big part of it. I think England or the FA or everyone at England have done a job in him. They must have made contact, whether that's with Declan, whether that's his dad, whether that's his agent. But for me, someone's got in his ear. I mean, if you ask Roy Keane the same question, I think he'll have not a diplomatic answer, if you get what I mean.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're getting at. What you're getting at. So Ricey's there. So next two, Marvin.
One of the 2-8s we're talking now, yeah?
Oh, just go both if you want.
I know probably you lot are going to have these two probably as your attackers, but I would have Foden and Grealish.
Okay. Howie?
Where's it?
Mark.
Where is this?
Mark.
Where's it? Where you put this?
He's playing that. So you got the pivot of Rice.
Yeah.
And
Right,
then,
and then Foden and Grealish are two ahead of them, yeah.
so you're playing them narrow or wide, Marv?
Narrow, they can go everywhere.
Right. Okay. Howie?
Do know Rice ain't Superman.
That's what I'm saying. My team would have been a very attacking team. I would have had
Very
two
attacking. This is 1970 Brazil.
And they won it, didn't they? Okay.
Howie, are you gone?
For me, I want to put Bellingham and Madison in there.
Okay. Nico?
Definitely Bellingham. He's a number 8 all day long. He's in for me.
Yeah.
My other problem is I'm just trying to work out my front three before I commit to the second 8.
You're going to put Mount in there. I know you are. You're going to put Mount in there as well.
So midfielders in the England squad, Bellingham, Gallagher, Henderson, Mount, Phillips, Rice.
I can't put Gallagher in because we represent him. I'll get battered.
So who are you putting in?
I'm putting Jude in, and I'm going to put Jack Grealish.
Ooh.
All right.
All right. I'm going carbon copy Howie. I'm going Bellingham and Maddison. I've always been a Maddison fan.
Lad. Silver.
In Maddison, the thought of, obviously, I know you got tight ties still with Leicester. He's thought of extremely highly there, isn't he? Yeah. And are you going to be torn when he goes to Newcastle after the World Cup?
Am I going to be torn?
Yeah.
No, I'm a Newcastle fan. No, I'm not. No. I'm going to be absolutely buzzing.
Do you think Maddison is a better 10 than an 8?
Well, all depends what you call it, 8 to 10 these days.
No, but the reason I'm saying it is I think Jude is a proper 8.
Yeah.
I think Grealish is a ball carrier. That's why I like him. But I think Jude stays in it. I think the second one's our problem. That's my issue with. I think Maddison's a very, very good player, but I think he's a 10.
I agree with you. I think there's a problem with the second player. If you're playing 3 of them, somebody's going to be on either side. Somebody's going to be caught out. And if you're going to do it, which side do you do it? Do you do it Trent Alexander-Arnold's side or Luke Shaw's side?
No, you need Jude to play Trent's side because he's so powerful and he can help Trent. Me personally, if you go on form, you pick Maddison, no doubt. But I just worry, is he an 8? Or I think he's a 10. That's my only issue with Maddison. I think he's a very, very good player.
Yeah.
Who are we going with then?
So, go through them again, Marv. Who have you gone for? Eric Dyer.
Which the attacker one?
Yeah.
I've gone. I can change one because obviously I can change one. I'm not leaving both of them out. I'll probably leave. I like Nico's idea. I mean, I think both Foden and Grealish can carry the ball, but let's leave Grealish in there and take Foden out and put Jude in there.
You have to play Bellingham, Marv. You have to play him. He's never been a sit.
Yeah, I like him deeper.
So who are you going for, Marvin?
What, for the 2 attacking?
Yeah.
I've gone for Grealish and Jude Bellingham.
So you still got, all right. So we got two-way tie then. So Nico and Marv have both gone Grealish and Bellingham.
And you two have gone the same.
Howie and I have gone Maddison and Bellingham.
So Bellingham's in then, isn't he?
Bellingham's a shoehorn in. So it's Grealish or Maddison. Oh, I don't know how you're going to decide this. Is Grealish just not too gung-ho to play in that 3?
I mean, that's why I had him in the 4. If I was playing I had my way, I'd have the 4-4-2 diamond. Yeah. So
he's in my 4.
I think the way Grealish played for Villa, he's shown he can do it. But obviously, he isn't used like that by Pep. But he has shown, obviously, I think, best football we ever played at club level has been at Villa that season when he He was like the go-to person. Give Jack the ball. And he was doing all sorts.
Yeah. Throw some names out there. I know you don't want to talk about Gallagher. Phillips, Henderson.
What about them?
Henderson. What did he say?
What about him? Could you but surely Henderson's got to be in the mix, hasn't he?
He can come on. Yeah, he can come on and see the games out. He can come on.
They're just to train.
Yeah. I think Henderson is just he's one of them lads who come on, steady the ship.
Yeah. He's reliable, very reliable.
It's what he does for Liverpool now, the general. Yeah. He's reliable, he's a leader, he's good in the camp. I mean, if I'm honest, it used to be 23 players. There's got 3 joker picks, obviously. I think Connor is very unique. There's nothing like that in the England squad, but I just don't think he'll start him because there's other people that have got far more experience and have done well for England, and he has got to wait. Connor, a lot of people didn't think he was going to get in the squad. It's fantastic for him, but on a serious note, but there's nothing like him. He's the closest to.
Yeah, what do you reckon, Marv? Were you surprised to see Gallagher in the squad?
Well, yeah, I mean, there's always going to be, what shall we say, one shock or one surprise element, and he probably was. If you look at the squad, was that one surprise that he made the squad? But I mean, obviously Nico would know more about him, obviously representing him. But I mean, just knowing what I know of him, I mean, he was fantastic. I mean, at Palace, I mean, when he was there on loan, and then come back and he's like more or less made his way into the squad at Chelsea, and now started and been the go-to on quite a few games, apart from the time when he got obviously suspended. And then he comes straight back in again once he's suspended. So, I mean, it showed you how much they are thinking of him. So, I mean, he's definitely a talented player.
Yeah. I think we may... right, how do you want to decide this? We've got Maddison.
Why don't we pick our top 3 and come back to Maddison Grealish debate?
Yeah,
I like your thinking.
Good idea.
I like your thinking. So, I assume... we've obviously got 3 up front. I'm going to assume in this, it's only a choice between 2 because Kane's straight in for everyone. Everyone agree on that?
Yeah.
Are you playing Callum Wilson up front?
He probably is. Knowing him, he probably is.
Bloody Newcastle.
He's got 2 because he said he had 2 up front, didn't he? He had a 4-4-2. So he had
yeah, but he's got to go for a 3 now. So, if we're playing 4-3-3, Nico, Kane in?
100%.
Yeah. Howie?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So Kane's in. So it's about either side of Harry Kane. Now, I will just go back actually quickly to Harry Kane. Record goal scorer for England. There's been lots of controversy in the press about is it easier or harder to do that these days? It's being devalued. They're playing San Marino, etc., etc. Is that fair or not, Howie? And how would that affect his confidence?
What, Kane? Was this?
Yeah, for Kane. Yeah.
Yeah. No, not at all. I think he's head and shoulders. I think he's a great centre forward player. He's a great striker, whatever you want to call him these days. I think he scores goals. His hold-up plays brilliant. Brings people into play. I think he's a great player. I think he's the first, like we've just said. I think he's the first name on that team sheet.
Yeah. What do you reckon about his goal scoring record, though? Do you think it's as good as it looks on paper?
Yes, because to score goals, it doesn't matter who you're scoring goals against. You score goals.
Well, we have to address. we have to address then the other thing now that, I mean, we've mentioned it quite a bit already. I mean, how on earth has he not taken Tony? Is like crazy, because even if he doesn't go to 2 up front, which you might have to do sometimes when you're chasing the game, all right? What happens if Kane now goes and gets injured out there? Who's going to be your main goal scorer when you're leaving the second most top goal scorer in the Premiership in the last year and a half back in England? Doesn't make sense.
This comes back to my point, I think, with Southgate saying, you know, you've got to pick the informed players. And like we were saying, I think Madison was one of them. The press put Madison in the squad, and I think Tony should have been there without a shadow of a doubt.
Second top goal scorer, Englishman, in the last 2 years.
Just stop scoring goals because he's in a different environment. He'd probably score more.
Nico?
So,
Do you not think he made a massive mistake though, not giving him any game time in the last 2 games? What was the point of picking him?
yeah, well, you put him in the squad and then just stick him in the stand. What?
Yeah.
Well, I think he did it more so to appease, because obviously, excuse me, he's in form, and now if he picks him, Nico, and he scores, then he's effed. You know what I mean? Because he probably didn't have had any notion of thinking of picking him, but he just wanted to appease maybe the people out there to say, look, yeah, he's in form, I'm going to pick him, but he's not done well in the training. I don't know what. He can dress it up any way he wants.
I think it goes deeper. I think it becomes personal. I think it's like, oh, if Ivan Toney's going to derail the group, then we can't have him. If James Maddison's going to devalue the group, we can't have him. I think there's a perception because of the tattoos, so what? It's your job to deal with players. It's your job to deal with egos.
Right.
You can't tell me none of us had egos, even if we it's ridiculous that players are not getting picked because of their footballing ability or other things. I don't have proof of that, but that's me as an outsider.
Right. I mean,
is he a bad, what? So you're saying like Tony and Madison are bad eggs? Is that what you're saying?
No, but there's been in the press of, you know, that Gareth that might not like their personalities, and I'm like, come on, we want to win the World Cup.
Yeah. You want different personalities in that squad anyway, don't you?
Correct.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah, you want some fun. You saw at the Euros, Saka mucking around on an inflatable unicorn. It's one of the biggest pictures that came out, was just different personalities. Then you had obviously Henderson on the side. Now, I'm not saying this is true by any means, in case lawyers are listening. Do you think there's an element of the controversy behind Tony and the investigations? Do you think that played in his mind? Do you think there may have been the FA in his ear?
I hope not.
no.
Well,
Me personally, the FA are not my friends, so probably. I've got on a serious note, I've got no time for the FA. And over the years, I think they've done a lot of things. They've got a lot of things wrong. It's like a cult. And for me, on a serious note, I agree with Marvin. I agree with Howie, who's a striker. There has seriously got to be something wrong. Our Ivan Toney is not on that plane. And I don't know, like you said, lawyers, and I don't know if I'm saying anything out of turn here. I don't get Harry's not on the plane. It's really confusing.
Yeah, I agree.
Something's gone down. Something's gone down somewhere along the lines, because you cannot, Howie's obviously the striker out of us four sitting here. You cannot for the life of you think, if you're now the second most top goal scorer in the English Premier League for the last 2 years or year and a half, right, behind Harry Kane, how are you not on that plane? Because even if he's gets injured, like I said, if he gets injured, who's going to be your go-to now? He's leaving himself wide open. It's not like he's had, when we had a few years ago, we had Defoe and other people, they were in the squad still, even though they weren't the main starters, but you have to have a backup. Who's his backup? Okay, he's got Callum Wilson. Okay.
But he's got glass legs.
Oh, he's got to keep fit.
Yes, but his record is not as good as Tony. Then Tony, where's Tony going to be?
I'm just going to throw another name out there then. Tammy Abraham.
He only scored 3 goals. I understand that.
But is there an element of, if you play abroad for England, you're not going to be in the squad? I know Bellingham's the exception.
No, because I think if the World Cup was last year, Tammy would be in the squad because how good he was for Roma. his output of his numbers last year was very high, assists and goals. I think his output numbers this year have been very, very low for his standards.
The same reason why Tomori's not in the squad, you reckon?
I was very shocked that Mark Gui or Fikeo didn't get in the squad, me personally. I thought that one of them would go.
Yeah. I reckon that he looked at Tomori and when what happened in the Champions League, and that's the only time I reckon Southgate's seen him, and he got torn to shreds.
I just hope Harry don't get torn to shreds.
Yeah. So we got Kaney up front. Who is either side of Harry Kane? Nico, you got your hand up.
Foden and Saka.
Marvin?
Echo Foden and Saka. Obviously, I've taken him back out.
Howie?
Foden. Yeah, I've got Saka and I've got Foden, yeah.
Yep, and just to prove it, it's exactly the same as mine. Yep, it's exactly what I've got. Foden and Saka. Foden's on now. I'm a lover of Saka. Absolutely think he's a fantastic player. His form's been a bit wobbly though.
He's a young man.
Yeah.
I know, but we're talking about form, informed players. Is Saka better being a impact sub, or are there better impact subs in that squad?
I got to be honest. If Sterling weren't playing as poorly as he is, it would have been Sterling and Foden for me. So I think Sterling's worse than Saka.
Right.
Oh, I agree with that. Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, off the top of my head, Nico might know better. I mean, Saka's like goals. He's got goals. I mean, he scored quite a few goals for this season, more than Sterling for me.
Absolutely.
Sterling, yeah.
I just think you've got two of the hottest inverted wingers in the league, in the world. They've got to play. It's like a Jude scenario. He's got to play. You've got to fit him in the midfield. And these two have got to play, like Harry Kane. Like Howie says, Harry Kane, I think there's 4 players that I'm picking. And it's the front 3 and Jude. And probably Rice, sorry.
I'll agree with that, Nico, because I think if Sterling was playing better than he was, you'd pick Sterling, you'd think, yeah, fair enough, but I don't think he's playing the best. And you look at Saka, you look all over Sterling, and you're playing Saka all day long.
Yeah. And you have to play Foden.
Yes.
I mean, what a talent he is.
Special player.
Yeah. Yeah, sensational. Best player you've seen for a while? Howie, best player you've seen for a while, technically?
Yeah, he's just going to get better and better. He's only a kid as well. He'll just get better and better. And it's everything. So I just love watching him. As soon as he gets a ball, you're like, oh my God. It was like what Nico said there. It was like when Grealish gets a ball at Villa. You're like, give him the ball, because he's going to do something. It's like, like rolling back the years to like the Gascoigne days. It's like, get the ball. Oh, here he goes. Let's see what he does. And Foden's like that for me. As soon as he gets a ball, I'm thinking he'll find a passer who'll do that. I mean, for me, he's brilliant.
Yeah, I agree. He's the only player I'd go and pay to watch.
Yeah. So we've got Foden, Saka. Now, Saka came back from the Euros really well. I mean, did very, very well after the Euros. So I think to answer back to all the doubters, how would you, or in your experience of managers and stuff, how do you think he'd have got over that? Do you think it was the management around his arm? Do you think it was the agents? What do you reckon it was, Nico?
Definitely wasn't the agents.
Why'd you say that, Howie? Are you not a fan of agents?
Oh God, no. I don't know why I said that.
Yeah, no, I think his parents, family members. I think the club was big for. I think Arsenal stuck by him, helped him. Obviously, there was 2 others as well after the Euros. But yeah, I just think as a young man, I think he's quite level-headed, academically very good. Always got a smile on his face, best way. And I just think I find it really, really young players who are just happy, play with no fear. They still remind me, like Howie said, they're Foden, he's a baby, but got a smile on his face, his work ethic, application, and I just think Saka is in that mould. I just think he's just, it's like he's playing in the streets of London. got no fear at all.
Yeah, you could see him playing in the cages underneath the motorways, can't you?
Absolutely, yeah.
Marvin, so we got Foden, Saka, Kane. We've still got one place to go, which means, because nobody named Grealish, which I think may have been our get out of jail free, or nobody named Maddison. So we got Rice as the holder. You then got Maddison, Bellingham, Foden, Saka, Kane. The question mark is Maddison or Grealish?
Just for me, again, if we're going to put those two together and say it's one or the other, Grealish is just that little bit more special for me to create more things. Maddison probably might get you maybe more goals than Grealish, but I think for creative-wise, I feel that Grealish just pips it for me.
Free kicks, or if you got Trent in there, do you not have to worry?
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, there's a point.
You got Trippier. You got but
Trippier's not in our team.
It was not.
No. I agree with what you say. If Trent's in the team, it all
Trent. Yeah, exactly.
Are covered. Listen, I think that's the only one I'm stuck on. I think Grealish as well, just because I think he will interlink and play really well with Foden on that side of the pitch.
Yeah. Howie, are you shifting?
I mean, I'm a massive fan of Grealish. I'm a massive fan of Maddison. I suppose if you want it all depends if Maddison is fit, isn't he?
Or is it just he's not in good form? Or do you just go for Rice, Jude, and Mount?
There you go.
Yeah.
But then I think do that. I like Mount, but I just think Chelsea are on a little bit of a low at the minute. So
yeah, I agree. I think the other question you got to think about is, and this is my next question is to you all. Do you think that the 5 subs is going to make a massive difference in this World Cup for fitness, etc.? And does that make a difference to your starting lineup? Would you keep a Grealish or a Maddison out of the starting lineup, knowing what they can do at 60 minutes?
He would.
Come on.
He would.
Yeah, I think that's a very good point. I think squads that have good depth are the ones that are going to be key. But I also think it's the managers that have the balls to do it and use them and not be afraid to go to their bench. Like if you look at Brazil's squad's insane. I think they've named 4 to 5 midfielders. He has just front loaded with everyone's an attacker in the squad. I mean, I'm thinking that is crazy.
So Howie, knowing the fact you got 5 subs, would that change whether or not you play Maddison or Grealish? Would it sway you? It may sway you either way. It may persuade you more Maddison. Because everyone talks about Grealish being the impact sub.
It could do, yeah. It could. Well, but then again, it could be the other way. You could see, blasted for 60 minutes and off you come.
The beauty of it is, Howie, is you can drop Jude as another pivot next to Rice and play Maddison and Grealish just as a 10.
10. Yeah. I mean, I'd love to see Grealish play. I really would, because he's exciting. And I just think I went for Maddison just because of in the back of my head thinking it's Grealish. Southgate doesn't like Grealish, does he?
No.
I think he likes Maddison less.
I don't think he does.
That's Maddison less. Yeah, exactly. That's lesser two evils, that for him. So I don't know.
Marv, what do you reckon? Would you sway Maddison, knowing the fact Grealish can come off the bench?
I mean, like you said, it's our team. So my input would be that, I mean, we're going for it. I mean, yes, yeah. I mean, I think they're both great players, but we're going for it. I'd say, listen, if we were the managers, I said, listen, this vote for Grealish, let's go for it. Let's go. I mean, I don't want to be on the back foot. I mean, if you have to adjust it, I'd rather adjust it that we have to do something different to, like, get something out of the game rather than put Grealish on, right, to all of a sudden now try and create something, and then you're in a situation, well, why did you not start him, right?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I don't think we should be picking a team that's going to chase the game. I think Marv's right. We should pick a team that we think is going to go as far as they can in this competition. I think, listen, it's gone well. We're debating on one position. Everything's locked in. Not too bad.
Yeah. But do you go, here's a point for you, do you go that early doors? First game, bang, take your stall out, we're going for it. Or do you play safe and then see how you get and then keep crack on?
I mean, Nick, I was saying, listen, who we playing? Who were we playing in the first game?
Iran.
Right, and then again, and that's not being disrespectful. You got to go. You have to go for it. You cannot.
It's going to be a low block, and you're going to have to break them down.
Right.
So I've got to say, Maddison and Grealish can do that. You can't, maybe one better than others, but I think they've both got ability. Or both got ability of unlocking. The problem you got is the 3 games. US, Wales, but the Iran is that predominantly the Iran's going to be the toughest one, I think, because they are going to be ultra low block, come and then break us down.
And who's better at doing that? Because Grealish runs at you, doesn't he?
Sorry, say that again.
Grealish runs at you.
Yeah.
Are you better having somebody who runs at you, or somebody who can play that pass on a sixpence like Maddison? I'm not saying he can't do either each. But...
Yeah, I think Grealish can do both. I think he can unlock you and he can travel with the ball. I think Maddison's got unbelievable vision.
This is where it's hard because you need Grealish to run at the thing, get fouled, and Maddison to take the free kick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Do you know what? I was thinking exactly that. I was actually thinking, do I sway to Grealish? I was going to buckle first.
I think, like Nico's just said, they're going to play a low block, so they're going to be camped in. So you have to break them down. And the more, there's not really going to be that much space then really for Maddison to really open them up. It's going to be more of a Grealish dribbling, maybe committing someone. Oh, he's on a yellow card straight away in the first 5 minutes. Now, you get him the ball again.
Penalty, Harry Kane scores. Penalty, Harry Kane scores.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, do you think we're weak in midfield? When we're picking Jude, Rice, and one other, and we can't agree. Like I'm a little bit disappointed in the midfield. I've got to be honest.
I mean, Bellingham, Rice, Maddison, Grealish. That's not. I'm not disappointed with that. No.
No, but the thing is, I'm going game by game. So against Wales, it's going to be, they're going to come for us.
They will. Yeah.
So for me, you can run off Maddison. For me, you can run off Grealish. That can hurt us.
Yeah. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, but I can also see him potentially then just swapping one of them out and playing flips.
That's my point. Are we getting it wrong? Are we being too open, too attacking? We've got Saka. We've got to remember, you've got Saka, Kane, Foden. And then you got Jude, who is Rice covers. Are we being too open, or should we go a bit more conservative? That's what I'm saying about this midfielder.
I can't remember the order of the games.
So
Iran, then is it US, then Wales,
and Wales.
See, that's what makes you think.
Nico. I know thinks. I think the US is going to be the toughest game of all 3.
Do you want to say that louder so they hear you upstairs?
only because I think that's the one they're going to probably a little bit underestimate a little bit more than the others for me.
Who do we have to worry about, Marv?
They're not as bad as what everyone thinks. They're okay. I think they're a lot better than everyone gives them credit for. The way they're playing at the moment, the US, they can cause a lot of problems all round. They haven't got one outstanding player. Listen, Pulisic obviously is the main, the hero, the go-to charge, so they say. But they've got a good squad of players are young, athletic. That in itself, the pace for them.
That's an interesting point, I think, as well. What it's going to be. I think I'm not too sure of the weather, how we're going to deal with it.
Yeah. And you talk about the Iran's first game. Obviously, they're used to eat. You've got Iran, and then you've got Wales, who are just going to be flying, which is the third game. and I don't know, the USA, surely the USA is going to be the easiest game in that pool.
There you go. That's what I'm saying. That's what you like to. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, well, it is. Because the first game's the first game around. They're just going to sit, like Nico says, totally agree. They're going to sit there. Wales is Wales. They just want to kill you. And USA will be like, okay.
But the US might have got like a 1-1 draw with Wales. Then what? Or even beating Wales. Then what? Yeah, exactly. That's our second game, which you're right, Howie. It could be, for me, I agree with you. On paper, you'd like to think that's the easiest game, but I think that could be one of the toughest games.
Yeah.
I think it's important getting off to a good start as well, because as you know, momentum is key in these tournaments.
Yeah. So
have we picked someone? Have we chosen someone?
I'm going to buckle to Grealish, because I'm talking about best 11 for the first game, and I agree. I think Grealish will be more useful and handy, especially in the Iran game. And if we're picking the best 11 for the first game, yeah, I agree. I'm swayed by Iran sitting deep, and I think Grealish running at them is more useful than Maddison playing the balls in behind.
All right, so then starting with you then, Andrew, because you've put one of us first. How far do you think we're going to go?
Quarters,
Nico?
but I've got a very bad feeling we may go out in the groups.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nico?
I think quarters. I think they'll get out of the group. I think they'll get into the quarters. I think they've got to be very lucky with the draw, or their form's got to drastically change.
Well, my son told me that we finished top. We're on a one-way train to France in the quarters. That's what he said to me. The way his game worked out, stuff.
Yeah.
Howie, what do you think, Howie?
I would like to see we get the semis, but I think quarters, and then obviously it depends on the thing. I think we could make semis.
Okay, Marvin.
No, I think quarters. Is a possibility. I think it's one of the few tournaments where we're going into it where we're not had any good form. So I think we might even go further than everyone thinks. Because normally we have a good build up, and it's like, yeah, we're going to do this, we're going to do that. Yeah. Right now, the expectations of the lead up games has been a little bit iffy, and everyone is not. I don't think there's as much pressure.
What's acceptable, Marv? What would you accept as a pass mark for England? What would you accept? I know, don't say winner. I know that, but you know what I mean.
No, I wasn't going to say winner. I'm realistic. Quarters. I think quarters.
I agree. Yeah. I agree.
Quarters,
anything better than the quarters is again going close, pushing yourself. Like I said earlier, I touched on, that you said they got to the semis and the final, they didn't win it.
Right.
Ultimately. But for me, I think they've got no minimums quarters. It's got to be in your mindset.
Right.
Howie?
No, I totally agree. Quarters. Do you see, Andrew, you don't think they'll get out of the group?
I just got a worry, a niggle that sits in the back of my mind that we're gonna struggle. I think we'll beat Iran. I don't know, the US, and then Wales are up for it.
Is that because of England's form?
Yeah, England's form, and I think we underestimate teams. And I just think that we'll beat Iran, but then I just have a real bad feeling we're going to draw the other two games.
If we beat Iran, I think we're getting out of the group, 100%.
You reckon?
Yeah, I think we'll draw against Iran.
I think it's going to be tighter than it looks like. An easy draw on paper.
Yeah. For me, everyone keeps saying, the Wales game, the first game always in tournament football is the hardest. I don't care who you're playing against.
Yeah.
Because it's so important to get that first win. There's pressure on that game. Get 3 points on them, because then you can draw the next two and still qualify.
Correct.
Yeah. All right. A couple of questions I want to ask you, gents, about. This is going to put you totally, I haven't told Marv this either, I'm going to put you guys totally on the spot. If you could pick any player from any other country and helicopter them a British passport. So if you could pick any other player, any one player in world football, and give them an English passport to play in the World Cup, who would that player be? And they don't necessarily have to be at the World Cup. They could not have qualified.
Oh, come on. That's crazy.
Why is it crazy? It's a fair question.
Yeah, because well, for me, you said they don't have to have qualified.
So if you could pick any player that would make your best 11 team better, who would that player be? Because I reckon your gut is wrong.
My gut is wrong.
You're going to go Haaland, aren't you?
No, I was going to for a goalkeeper. Why?
Oh, okay. I thought you were going Haaland. I thought you were saying. I thought you were saying Haaland. I was going to say, really? All right.
No,
so you reckon who would you pick then? Donnarumma. You're saying goalie.
No.
You can pick any player.
The Italian guy you're on about, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that who you go? So you reckon the one player in world football that can make the England squad or the best 11 better would be Donnarumma?
Yeah, because I mean, I actually, you know what? I like I like Ramsey. Ramsdale. I mean, I'll pick a defender. I don't know. I'll pick a defender because we're poor. I mean, I can't think of the top. I mean, go to the other two first. I need to give it time to think. But we're
So, how often in training did Marv do that, boys?
What, pass the ball?
Do what?
Pass the ball.
Oh, my God. Listen, I was always attacking. I was at the other end. I said, Howie.
Ask him, boss. Ask him.
Howie, I'm up this end. Come and defend me. He's making the attack.
All right, Howie. Go on in. Who would you go for? You're going to go Almiron, aren't you?
No, Michael Guimaraes, sure.
It has to be a defender, surely. If we're putting the back,
defender. You know what? My heart wants to say Messi. Stick him in.
I know. He said, yeah.
I mean, but you have to go. You'll have to go because of the way our squad is. I think you'd have to go for a centre half, centre back. I can't get one off the top of my head at the minute.
No, I can't. That's what I mean. Nico, you're the captain, man. Nico will know someone.
Yeah, I'm trying. I'm thinking of the centre half, but it probably would be an Italian one, and it's crazy that Italy ain't there.
Yeah. So you wouldn't pinch somebody from any other team?
I get everyone will jump on Ireland, but we've got Harry Kane.
Yeah.
I just don't.
De Bruyne, would De Bruyne fix the problem? The question marks.
Very good pick.
Would De Bruyne go in instead of Grealish and play next to Bellingham?
Absolutely, that's something.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah, great point.
Because that's the only one we've been stumbling across. Or is that because we're spoiled and, like you said, in actual fact, we're better off having a centre back instead of Stones or White?
No, I think you made a good point because De Bruyne is an out-and-out midfielder. Where Grealish can be seen at Man City now, he's a wide forward.
Yeah. He plays where Saka and Foden are playing.
Not all the time.
Oh, Grealish. I think Grealish, that's where Pep
Grealish.
Yeah.
I mean, De Bruyne is...
Oh, yeah.
De Bruyne solves that midfield. De Bruyne, Jude and Rice. I mean, that's some midfield.
I'd have gone De Bruyne because I think, but then I had time to think about the question. I appreciate that. Marvin, going back around the circle, back to you. So who would you go for then?
Like you just, I mean, I'm thinking now of the game the other day against Brentford. I don't know if you watch it, but I mean, they know they lost, but De Bruyne, I mean, he stopped Tony from having a hat trick. You know what I mean? So he's up and down, even in the last minute of the game. So probably De Bruyne.
I'm De Bruyne. I think it's a great point, Andrew.
Howie?
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I mean, he's one of the best players in the world. So you'd fit him in somewhere, and I think he would give the balance to that side. But I still want to see Messi. You know what I mean? Just for fun.
Yeah.
I'm going Messi.
Yep. All right. So, final question, gentlemen. We've got Southgate in charge of the current England team. We've all had flags and question marks throughout this whole pod about him, whether or not how he's going to pick the team. Is he going to pick the best starting lineup, etc. If you could take Southgate out, which manager in world football would you put in in his place?
Well, I always said we'll lose. As a Newcastle fan, we'll lose Eddie Howe to England, right? But I don't. Obviously, that's the English and the type of fit for England. But what manager in the world?
Do you think that's still? Hold on, go back to that. Do you think that's still true? Do you think Eddie Howe would walk away from this project now, the way you're going?
Probably not now. Hopefully not now. But I don't think he will now. No.
I'll tell you who will be available soon for the England job. Graham Potter. And there'd be no comp on his head if he keeps getting the results he's getting.
Yeah.
Very true. Very, very true.
I think you're going to see Allardyce there.
He's got the best England record going.
That's it.
I've got my,
Sorry?
Ancelotti.
Ancelotti.
Yeah.
Ancelotti.
I think he's the greatest manager ever because he's done so many countries.
True, that's a good point.
I'm trying to think where he's done it. Yeah, you're right. Yep. Pep's done it, but he hasn't done it in Italy. And he arguably hasn't done Champions League enough.
Yeah, correct. I mean, listen, Pep can overtake him and match him, but at this moment in time, I just look what Ancelotti's done in England, in Spain, and Italy, and I think even he was at Bayern as well, I believe. So
he was at Bayern, wasn't he? Yeah.
So them 4 power countries, I just think that's unbelievable.
Well, maybe he could do a better job at Italy than Mancini.
Yeah, possibly. But Mancini didn't he?
But that's what I was going to. I'll come back to my question in a sec. Actually, I'll give Marvin and Howie a bit more thinking time. As an England fan, would you have been happy if you were Italy right now? So if you hadn't qualified for the Russia World Cup, you'd won the Euros, hadn't qualified for this World Cup, would you taken that than the situation we're in? Nico?
No, I think you've got to qualify for all the major tournaments. I mean, I want them to win. I think they would have. I think they scored too early and we went so defensive in the final. And I feel I just don't want to blame Gareth, but his staff, they played into Italy's hands. We just was drawing them on. They've got too many good players. And for me, I think England have got to be at major tournaments.
Yeah.
I think that's a given.
Yep. Marvin?
This is my
would you swap what happened in the Italy? Would you be Italy instead of us and have win the tournament? At least you won a tournament.
No. I mean, again, because we could have won that. Like Nico said, we played into their hands. We could have won that final. So no, I wouldn't swap it. No.
Howie?
Totally agree. No, I wouldn't stop. You want to like Nico says, you want to qualify for every tournament, and you want to be there at every tournament. You know, you want to watch England play in every tournament. But it was that Italy game. We should have won that game.
Yeah. So, which comes back to the question: who would have been better, or who is better to manage his team? Marvin, you've had a bit of thinking time.
Yeah, I had thinking time. I did like the way Gareth went about when he first got appointed, and he sort of like, I mean, this whole like club where like Liverpool players or Chelsea players or whatever sat on the own table. I think he's brought a more togetherness with the squad initially, but the only thing for me what's disappointing is that he's not gone down the route of like picking informed players, and Tony's like is a great example. So I'm swaying. I mean, I'm saying that because obviously I felt he had that sort of like togetherness with the players, which is something important for a national team. And I feel that the person I feel could do that would be Klopp. I like his man management skill. He seems that most players seem to get on. He's like, you see him, he's hugging them or whatever. He's got a close bondship, and I think that sort of person would be ideal.
Fair point. Very good point. Very good point. Howie?
Pep, for me, if I replace him with anybody, Pep, without a shadow of because I think when he come back to that Tony point, if I was interested to see if Tony had to come out in the press after he scored the 2 goals and sort of had a dig. But I thought if he was a bad egg or like perceived to be a bad egg. He might have said something, derogatory towards Southgate, but I don't think he did. I think he went about his business and said, yeah, fair enough, I scored 2 goals. So, and like what Marv said there about playing informed strikers, informed players, I think you've got to play your informed players because they're taking that performance into. They're not like a striker when he doesn't score 10, 12 games. He's on edge. But if he scored in the last 6, 7 games and he goes into a tournament, he's going to be high as a kite, no matter what you are. You're going to be, and I think that's what like Madison's. Just use him as an example. He's on fire. Play him. Let him keep him going. Keep that run going as he goes up. And I think with a manager like somebody like Pep, he would have brought somebody in like Tony, and he could manage him because he's the best manager out there. Because the egos in that dressing room are huge.
Yeah,
and they're the best team in the world.
Yeah.
And he manages.
I want to go back to something what Nico was a great point what he raised. Do you think if he waited until the last game, Tony would have been in? If he waited to the squad that was announced?
Good question.
To do Man City, I just think it's all wrong the time. I mean, listen, that's huge. Like, that's Brentford going to Man City, turning them over, playing how they did, low block. It's a little bit like how Iran's going to play against England.
I don't know you probably was working. Did you see the game? Yeah. I mean, Brentford should have been 3 up. I'm like, within the first 10 minutes, they should have been 3 up.
No disrespect, Tony should have had an hat-trick.
Yeah.
It should have been better than 2.
Yeah. So I mean, again, do you think if we would have waited, would he have been in the squad? Do you think, or not? Very different.
Never know, do you now? Because has he been left out for footballing reasons or other reasons? I just can't. It's got to be something else. I'm that strong on it. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Howie?
No, I don't think you would have been, mate. Do you know what? I don't think you would have been because I don't think he likes him, and I don't think. I think he's gonna. If we're there for 3 weeks or whatever it is, I don't think he wants to be involved for 3 weeks. You know what I mean? I just don't think he wants him there. So
Andrew?
I don't agree with it at all because I think he should have been on the plane.
I think he picked the squad a month ago. And the only changes he's had to make, as you said, I think Madison's persuaded him, and that's been a 26 change. But
free joke, yeah.
Like you said, the press has forced him in, and I just reckon that's it, Marv. I think he picked it so long ago. Right, well, our team is done.
Just read it out, as I say, read it out the team.
Our team is done. Our team is Ramsdale, Alexander-Arnold, Shaw, Stones, White, Rice, Grealish, Bellingham, Foden, Saka, and Harry Kane is our best 11. Now, it will be remiss of me, because we've got lots of Luton fans, to ask this question. Who should be the next Luton manager? Mark?
I would.
Nico. Go, Nico. Nico jumped in.
I would go for Critchley, who done a very, very good job at Blackpool. And I just think they're going to go that head coach route where he's young, coach / manager. I think he's good with the players. I think the fans and Blackpool really, really liked him until the shock of him leaving with Steven Gerrard. I just think it's a good fit if Luton are looking to do a similar appointment of what Nathan had achieved on both occasions, really, at Luton. He was successful both occasions. You got to be fair.
Yep, that makes sense. Marvin, I know you spoke out about Dicey, but he's
that was again, he was obviously he would be looking for more, for not being disrespectful, for more of a higher profile Premiership club. But I mean, I feel that I played with him when he was there, and all his whole management skills, to the sounds of things, looks like he would be someone who could embrace the way how Luton would want to play. He can handle characters. I mean, he handled Joey Barton. No, Dyche. I said no, Dyche. Yep. Dyche. I was there, but obviously he's ruled himself out. But I mean, I don't know. I mean, that's a good shout with Nico saying Critchley. It's a great shout.
Yeah, Howie.
Critch, I've known him for a couple of years now, Critch. He's a good lad. He's a good manager. So I think it'd be good. He was well respected at Villa when he was there, and obviously, like Nico just touched on there, he's Blackpool. So I think he'd be a good fit. But then again, like, I was talking to Stephen Robson the other day, and he what about him?
Is he favourite? I saw his favourite, wasn't he?
Yeah, he went
favourite.
And then drifted, yeah. But I don't. Well, I don't know. I don't know what he's He's doing a cracking job up there, so I think he's all right up there.
All right, gentlemen.
Right.
I want to say thank you very much for joining us for our England Best 11. It's been an absolute pleasure, absolute ball. And that was Steve Howard, Kevin Nicholls, Marvin Johnson, and my England's Best 11. Thank you very much, gents.